What an incredible message from Pastor Mark Slev this morning. What if there was one thing that could change everything? And I know that God has spoken to every single one of us here on campus. I've got a heap of notes today. I think there's enough content in Pastor Mark's message for about 3 different messages. It's going to take a lot to download all of this over the next few days. But such an incredible message. And just as he's spoken to us on campus, I believe that he's spoken to you in your homes as well. So I'm going to take a moment to wrap it up with some good friends, Tash and Barnard, in just a second. But before I do that, I want to encourage you this morning to write down whatever God's saying to you. Listen into this conversation, write down what God's saying to you, and share that with us. Let us know what God's saying to you on all our different online platforms. Help us, help you build and grow your faith. Hey, if you give into the life of Linc Church, I want to take a moment and say thank you very much. Thank you for being those people that continue to sow, continue to invest into the story, that we can get the gospel of Jesus out to so many different people. And there's many different ways you can give. You can jump onto the website, linkchurch.com. There's Zapper codes on there, EFT, whatever that may look like. We'd also love to pray with you. If God's doing something in your heart, or you'd love us to partner with you in prayer, let us know. Let us know how we can be a part of your story, how we can pray with you, and share the God stories with us. Let us know what God's doing in your life so we can celebrate those moments with you as well. Tash and Andre, great to have you guys on the wrap. It's your debut.
Hello, Dubsy.
Hello,
Hello everyone. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing? You are?
Yeah,
morning, everyone.
Good, man.
Morning.
And if you don't know Tash and Andre, some incredible friends, been a part of the Linc story for a very long time. Incredible people in our community. And it's just great to get your thoughts. I can't believe it's taken you this long to get onto the wrap.
You haven't invited us.
I know. It's my fault.
It's okay.
But no.
The time is now.
But this is like like an audition. And if you do well today, then maybe get you back on.
I'm glad I did my makeup. I know some of you can't see, but...
No, I'm joking. Sit up straight. I normally sit like this, Tash, but because you did it, I'm sitting up as straight as what I can. Only joking. It's so good to have you guys here on the wrap this morning. And I wanted to get some feedback from you guys as to what God's saying, what you're excited about, and what you're going to be taking into the week with you. Tash, we'll start with you. And were there any like God moments or anything that God downloaded in a moment to you today?
Dubsy, yes, definitely. You know, I often get a message here at Linc, and it will relate to work, which is my passion and my gift to this world, because it's such a talent from
That's
above.
Right.
But I loved what Mark said about your small decisions that sets you up for success. And it's kind of like your small little muscles. If you don't work them, you are not going to be able to be stabilized. And
That's right.
Yeah, that's what stood out for me. So it's those small little decisions that helps you move forward and be successful.
That's
at the end.
So good. Yes, Tash, I love actually chatting to you around faith and God stuff, because you bring such a practical element to what that looks like. And we're all in the gym building the big muscles. No one builds the small. It's the same thing about... No, you're laughing at me, but I'm being honest. It's I'm a very practical, visual guy. So like I look at a guy's biceps and think, yes, that's lekker. But what you don't know is that all those little muscles aren't connecting, and he's got a sore back and all this. Like I'm talking about myself. I got big biceps and
good.
small...
No, looking good, though.
Sore back. But it's that same thing as what no one sees what happens in the private. And it's what happens in the private that actually matters. So everyone wants the public platform, but they're not prepared to do the private work. And I think those small little muscles, like you say, are
Listen, I can
very
carry
important.
on with this now for days.
No. Stop right there. We only got about 5 minutes. But
yes, come on.
But that's amazing. Andre, for yourself?
Gee, Stubbs, I'm just reading my notes here, and I've got to give you, that predictive text. I'm going to read this. It's quite funny. My predictive text. Slevy spoke about the wide road and the narrow road.
Yes.
And obviously the narrow road that leads to freedom, but my predictive my predictive text said, wife is the road that leads to bondage. You got to love that.
Screenshot that.
You know what, and I'm a culprit of this. I often come to church and get an affirmation or confirmation of what I already know, and then only act upon it.
Yeah.
So what, the message is, that you already know what to do. You know your disciplines.
Yep.
Don't come to church to practice them, and then come to church to live them.
Brilliant.
So I'm always caught in that. Like What am I doing? I come to church, Slev says, narrow is the road, do your disciplines. And I go, I've got to go home, read my Bible more. But I've been hearing that in my own mind for the last week.
Yeah. It's amazing though, because also we, as people, are very disciplined in certain areas. So, Andre, you're the only guy that I know that wakes up at 3 o'clock every morning and then has a gym session and a run before the family wakes up at 5. And
True.
Honesty call. That hasn't been happening.
Yeah,
That's one of my disciplines that needs to change.
And then Tash is very disciplined at kicking you out of bed at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning when you actually want to have a lie-in. But, but I'm saying, like, we're disciplined in certain ways. Guys are disciplined in their business ways. They're disciplined in what they eat. They're disciplined in the way they train. They're disciplined in the way they conduct so many things in our life. But like, I find a battle to be disciplined in small faith elements. And what would it look like to build those small faith elements daily? If it's just one little word of the day, or one worship song on the way to work, or what are those elements that we can build daily? And also, what are we trusting God for? I think, like, we all got young kids, and I'm going, are we praying now for husbands and wives of our children? Because I think there's moments where we're going, that's just one discipline. I'm going, like, we're all going, like, the goal is that they all marry these incredible people. They all marry people that believe. They all marry people that are that love them and respect them and honor them. Yet, are we putting those disciplines in place now? Going, are we praying for them? Because the goal is that they're there, but the process is partly our responsibility.
So, Dubsy, in our house, actually, Andre started an incredible routine or ritual to pray with the kids on the way to school, and we share school drops during the week. And it's become such a habit, a good habit. We'll get to a specific point on the R102 where they're busy building that new gas station, and either myself or Andre or the kids will just start praying for people and for the day.
Amazing.
And often at the end of a day or during the week, there would be breakthrough for things that we prayed for, and we will celebrate that. Yeah. The other thing that is a small ritual in our house is to pump the worship music any time of the day, because for us that shifts the atmosphere when things are crazy and we're tired and we're getting the day started.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Always crazy.
it is. But for us, that's a big one. Absolutely.
It's amazing how music changes the atmosphere of a home, and worship music in particular. We find the same thing. Some mornings are absolutely chaos. And I'll just sneak over to the speaker there and plug something in and play it as loud as I can. It literally just changes the atmosphere. Worship changes atmospheres. So
I just want to jump in there, Dubs. I think sometimes, and we should overstate the obvious. We should overstate it. And the obvious is that it is small steps. Like, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, whatever your challenge is, it's small steps that's going to get you there. Yeah. And we know it, but we don't implement it because we want to get there quickly. So it's quick self-gratification that we're after. So, it's the small steps, man. The small steps work.
that's so good. Progress is often too slow, like Mark was saying. Yes, Andre, that's a space that you play in, that coaching space. It's what you do, the optimum performance coach. And how do you help people? Because you're not just going to help athletes and people become better people, but you're going to help a bunch of people out there growing their faith. What do you say to guys when they're not seeing progress? They're putting in the disciplines, they're working day in and day out. How do you encourage them? You're an encourager, you're a coach. How do you encourage guys that in those moments?
You know what, Debs? I always start everything in challenging the person or the group to say, what is your reality? Are you really in your reality?
Brilliant.
Or are you, we talk about small steps. Do you think you're on the third step when you're actually still on the first step?
Sure.
Because we don't go back and check what our reality is. Like, I've been challenged at work recently, and the one question I keep asking myself is, and to be quite honest, how is Diljana hearing God's word or voice when I'm not hearing it?
Yeah.
And then the reason why I'm not hearing it is because I'm not making quiet time to listen.
Brilliant.
And that's a small little discipline. So, I want to say, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to achieve this. But am I doing, or am I moving from what my reality is? My reality is I'm not making time for it. So how can I expect to hear it? And, it's a small thing. We don't step from our reality enough. So we just got to keep asking ourselves, what is my reality? And it's not a bad or good thing. It's just what it is.
It's real.
Yeah.
What is your reality? That is a great, helpful tip out there. What is your reality in your daily life, in the business and the chaos of where you find yourself? What is your reality with the Word of God? How can you bring a simple step into building something in the private in your reality?
Yeah, and then I just actually want to add is to be consistent in that space. So
Brilliant.
whatever your reality is, and not compare. Like, don't compare your reality with the person that you might be mentored by or inspired by. Just live in your own reality and
So good.
be consistent in your own commitment that you're making to yourself.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I remember Tony Rainbow once saying, everyone wants to do what I do, and I just keep reminding them, no, don't do what I do what I did. Because
Wow,
Tony's
yeah.
50-some odd now, and he's looking at 20-year-old guys wanting to be this incredible church-building, preaching machine,
Yeah,
as Tony
good.
is. But he's going, don't do what I do, just do what I did. Do what I did at 20, not at 50. Because if you do what I did then, your results now will be what they are today. So that's amazing. Alrighty. What are we taking into Monday?
Oh, so much. Like you said, Slevy could have written a book of what Slevy preached this morning.
Yeah.
For me, it's really the simplicity of saying, what do I need to do more of? And what does
So
that
good.
look like? We talk, we often ask ourselves, how did I get you? Like, this. But the reality is like Slevy said, and it's actually a Jewish friend of mine said this to me many years ago when I was a bit reckless. Yeah. He said to me, you're going to look back one day in your life and you're going to remind yourself that your life is the sum of your choices.
Sure.
So start making good choices.
Brilliant.
And that's the reality. So what are you waking up tomorrow morning and you're making good choices? Or if you're making bad choices, just acknowledge them so you can move past them.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to take that song, Resurrender, that Tash sang. I think it was the third worship song.
Yes.
I'm going to add that to our playlist at home and in the car. And yeah, I'm just going to continue arriving with a posture of purpose and commit to what I realistically feel I can complete this week.
So good. If you call in, I'm coming. I'm not walking. I'm running.
And
Hey.
I'm not a runner, but I will run for
Hey,
Jesus.
we're running into the week because God is amazing. Hey, I love the way Slev closed that message at the back end. He said, he called it the plan. God has given you a game plan. And he spoke around the way, the truth, and the life. And we all love the truth and we all love the life, but we're not prepared to put in the yards to follow the way. So I want to encourage you this week, wherever you're watching from, wherever you are leaning in from, get the way right. Go do those private disciplines, which are going to give you a public outcome. And thank you, Tash and Andre. You guys are amazing. And you've passed the test. You're welcome back on the Rapid anytime. Just got to make sure our diaries line up, because I know you guys are busy people. But once a month would be great. Thanks so much for joining us this morning in church. We'd love to connect with you. Linkchurch.com is where it's at. Have an amazing Sunday and enjoy the rest of the week. Write down what you're taking into Monday and implement them. Be consistent. Have an amazing week, everybody. Ciao, ciao.